You're listening to Give Yourself Some Leeway with me, your host, Eugene Lee. I've spent the last 4 years trying to discover how to break the burnout cycle. And as a high achiever in a fast-paced world, it's very easy to slip into the old habits that leave you feeling overwhelmed and left behind. And if you're anything like me, then you need to hear this. It's not your fault. Each episode is dedicated to breaking the stigma around mental health in the workplace, ending burnout culture for good, and the action steps that you can take today to do your part towards personal growth and success. And I'm so happy that you are here today. Over the last few interviews, I've talked a lot about the cornerstones of Give Yourself Some Leeway, being self-awareness, self-compassion, and self-care. Because if we don't look at our life from these three angles, from these three cornerstones or foundations, then how are we aware of how we're treating others? If we're not aware of ourselves, how are we going to be aware of others around us? If we don't talk to ourselves with compassion, how do we know if we're talking to those closest to us and those we want to support? How do we know we're treating them with compassion? And if we're not taking care of ourselves, how can we be sure that we're always there to take care of those that we love the most? And what I want to cover over the next couple of episodes are the self-sabotaging behaviors that we justify for ourselves. Some of the ones that really had an impact on my burnout journey. And one of the ones that came up first when I was going through these was sleep procrastination. Because when you live such a busy, hectic, fast-paced lifestyle, it's very easy to sacrifice your sleep hours in order to get more done. So what is sleep procrastination? I'm pretty sure a lot of us know it by different names, whether it's your bedtime procrastination or sleep postponement. And it's that phenomenon where we sacrifice hours of sleep willingly, even though we want to sleep, but we just want to do some other activity other than work or other than our responsibilities. We want to find some outlet. And even though we're tired, we want to spend time on that activity just so we feel like we haven't been working all day. And sometimes it can just be something non-essential or mindless, as you could have a long day at work, 12 to 14 hours, and you have to face the work at the same time early tomorrow morning, but you just want to mindlessly scroll through Instagram, just doom scrolling for an hour, or go through YouTube or TikTok, or maybe play video games, jumping on Fortnite or Overwatch or Valorant for a few hours with friends, or maybe it's binge watching your favorite show on Netflix. And even though you're absolutely shattered and you just want to go to bed, you're like, no, I need to make some time for myself. And if that's at the expense of sleep, then that's okay. But this can have such a massive negative impact over time. So I want to go through the three cornerstones of self-awareness, self-compassion, and self-care when it comes to sleep procrastination. So one of the narratives that we use to justify sleep procrastination is that I'm too busy to sleep. I just have so much going on. It's just, I need to make that extra time. And if that's going to cost me 6 hours of sleep, maybe I'll just get 3 or 4. Or I can't get 10 hours of sleep. That's so impractical or unproductive. I might be able to push 4 or 6 hours because I'm trying to run this side business. I'm trying to run my day job. I'm trying to study. I'm trying to take care of my kids. And it all just piles up. And you make all of these justifications as to why you're too busy to prioritize sleep. Another one is when people say that they work better at night. And it's not true for as many individuals as people may They may think they're night owls and they work better at night, but sometimes putting off that sleep is a lot more unproductive than getting your quality hours, getting your quality sleep, staying in your circadian rhythm, and getting more productive work done in less time during daylight hours. Another thing people always say, especially if you're watching Breaking Bad or whatever your favorite show is on Netflix, okay, Breaking Bad is still phenomenal, but people go, okay, I'm just coming to the last 5 minutes, just one more episode. And especially when Netflix and all these streaming platforms just autoplay into the next episode, it's very easy to just get sucked into, okay, I'll just watch another 20, watch another 40 minutes, and then I'll go to sleep. And it you just get sucked into this loop of, okay, just 40 minutes more, and you're just prioritizing 40 minutes more attention and focus on Netflix, rather than saying, okay, if I got 40 minutes more sleep, I might perform better tomorrow. No, you get sucked into this outlet of, I spent so long at work today, I just need another 30 minutes of Netflix to wind down before I go to sleep and wake up to another day of work. Another thing people always say is, sure, I can catch up on sleep later. Sleep is for, I'll sleep when I'm dead, almost. And I think that's the harsh reality, is that if you don't get enough quality sleep, you're really speeding up your body clock, that it has such a negative impact on your health. You probably will sleep when you're dead a lot sooner than you may think. But we'll get to that in a minute. Another thing is, people say, oh, I can't fall asleep anyway. I'm just such a light sleeper that I might as well stay up and watch TV for another couple of hours and fall asleep then. These self narratives can be so self harming in their own ways, because you're trying to justify why this negative behavior is almost a positive outlet in your life. And this happens a lot with self-sabotaging behaviors. We justify how they're actually having a positive impact in a way. And we tend to ignore the massive pink elephant in the room, which is all the sleep fatigue that we get as a result. Not getting enough quality sleep can have more than just feeling groggy and foggy at work in the morning. It can lead to long-term cognitive impairment. And especially when you're in a busy, hectic, high energy or high achieving role, not having that cognitive ability leads to like reduced attention, concentration, the ability to problem solve and make high responsibility decisions. If you have that high level of brain fog and fatigue, how can you perform at your best? Over time, it can also lead to neurological disorders. Not getting enough quality sleep can have a massive impact on your brain, and can also lead to cardiovascular disease as well, if you're not giving your body enough time to recover. So all of these justified self-narratives that you have for why you need to work more into the night and not get that quality sleep, or you need that outlet from work, and doom scrolling on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok is your outlet. Sometimes you just need to change your narrative. Be aware of the negative impact this is having on you. Maybe staying up for 2 or 3 hours isn't the right approach. So what are the healthy self-narratives that you can use instead? Now that you're aware, that you're self-aware, that the sleep procrastination is not serving you to your best ability, to your full potential, how can you be more compassionate to yourself? What is the story you can tell yourself instead? How about saying, sleep is a priority for my well-being? Sleep is a priority for my well-being. If you recognize that sleep is a fundamental need for your physical, mental, and emotional health, then you're much more likely to take care of your sleep hygiene and your sleep quality so that you can show up and take care of yourself more. Tell yourself that quality sleep enhances my productivity, because improving your cognitive functioning by getting quality sleep helps you to remember more, helps you to make those key decisions. So you feel less foggy, less groggy at work, and you feel more productive at work. Consistency in my sleep pattern matters. If you understand that, if you can set the boundaries between work time, playtime, and sleep time, you will enjoy the amount of time that you spend on those a lot better if you set those boundaries for yourself. Now, I'm not telling you that you never wind down after work, but sometimes you just need to say, okay, yes, I need a break, but that break does not need to affect my sleep time. So take a break. Take your 20 minutes or 30 minutes of Netflix, or set a timer on your phone for 10 minutes of doom scrolling if that's what you need. But don't let it affect your sleep for the next 3 to 4 hours. And sometimes we do fall off the wagon, and you find yourself doom scrolling or falling into the sleep procrastination habit for the next 4 hours, and you get a really bad night's sleep. Instead of telling yourself, oh, it's happening again, I'm falling into that bad cycle, you just say, okay, it happened once, it happened last night, but I can manage my time better tomorrow. Reminding yourself that you can postpone the activities that you thought were going to take you all night tonight, because you've had such a bad day at work now because of getting to bed late last night, that you're falling into that vicious cycle. You're like, no, if I take the time tonight to get a good night's sleep, then I'll show up better tomorrow and I can get the work done then. My favorite is to say that I value my long-term health over short-term distractions. I value my long-term health over short-term distractions. Putting aside Netflix or Instagram or TikTok tonight for next 2 or 3 hours and being like, no, I invested those 3 hours of sleep extra in myself so that I can show up better for everyone and for myself tomorrow. I think this is one of the best ways to stay consistent when it comes to self-care. So what can we do in terms of self-care to improve our sleep hygiene? I think one of the best ones is just to put the phone away or put the distraction away. Make an obstacle. I think James Clear covers this a lot in Atomic Habits about creating an obstacle to that bad habit to that bad habit that, or the habit that is not serving us. And if there's an obstacle in the way, we're less likely to do it. So maybe that's plugging out the TV and only plugging it in if you really want to watch some TV. If it's always there and it's just a button on the remote away, then there's no resistance. But if you know it's going to take some effort to do the habit that you don't want to do, then you're less likely to do it. And maybe you'll prioritize your sleep more. Having a nighttime routine, helping to wind down after work. Yes, maybe you have your routine when you get home from work and you set a boundary, and you're like, okay, it's 8 p.m., 9 p.m., time to start my 1 hour wind down routine so that I can fall asleep easier. And you turn off all the bright lights, you have a dim house, you don't look at screens, you minimize your screen use, and you start getting ready for bed. Now, just to wrap up on sleep procrastination, how do we become more self-aware of it? Maybe we need to be aware of, do I feel groggy at work? Do I feel like I need a nap around midday? Do I feel like when I get home from work I need to do more and I always have late bedtimes? Or am I getting more than 6 hours sleep? Am I getting close to 8 or 9 hours? Is that feasible for me? And if you think it's not feasible, then maybe that's a sign that you're procrastinating your sleep in some way, that you're sacrificing your sleep time, your sleep quality in an effort to break that boundary between what's work and what's not work. When it comes to self-compassion, what's the narrative you have around sacrificing your sleep hours? Is it that you're too busy to sleep? That sleep isn't a priority for you? How can you change that narrative so that sleep is a priority and that your long-term health is more important than these short-term distractions in your life? And self-care, what habits can you put in place to make sure that you do get that quality sleep and prioritize getting high sleep quality for your long-term health so that you can be there to serve yourself and serve others for many years to come? I really hope that you enjoyed this episode, and if you did, please let me know. You can reach out at giveyourselfsomeleeway.com, on Instagram at eugene.leeway, or shoot me an email. I love hearing from you guys at eugene@leeway.ie. Thank you, and I really hope you enjoyed today's episode. Take care.